The meme trade may very well be back. Roaring Kitty, remember that name of Wall Street Bets fame? He's returned, and shares of GameStop are up as a result.
GameStop, shares of the game retailer surging again today.
Over again, led by Gamestop and AMC. I need to remind you that this is irrational.
I will tell you, I've never seen anything like it.
Holy fucking shit. I'm gonna pick a stock and talk about why I think it's interesting, and that stock is GameStop.
GameStop, I'm sure you're wondering what's all the hype around this company. GameStop Corp. is an American video game, consumer electronics, and gaming merchandise retailer. The company is headquartered in Grapevine, Texas, and is the largest video game retailer worldwide. I'm going to try to actually explain the real thesis of what's going on and why GameStop very well could affect the entire market and bring down corrupt financial institutions on a big scale. We're going to keep it really simple. When you buy stocks normally, you're buying at a lower price, and you're hoping it goes up so you can sell it and make some money, right? Well, there's no rule in the stock market that says you're not allowed to borrow something from someone. You're allowed to borrow shares from your friend. If you borrow something, you're allowed to do what you want with it. I can borrow some shares and then sell them on the market right now. I just have to return them later to make sure that your friend gets his shares back. You're allowed to do this thing called short selling, where you borrow some shares from whoever right now, and you sell them at the market right now, hoping actually the price will go down. Then later, you'll buy some and return them to your friend, and you actually make money because you return them for less money than you actually made when you sold them in the first place. Short selling is this thing where you can bet the market will go down, and it's like taking out a loan. When the market goes down, then you close out the loan and you make some money. You have to pay a little interest to keep that loan open, but you can make a lot of money doing that, especially if you see a company that's obviously going to die because it's a failing business model, and you want to make some money while it dies. But you want to be really careful, because if you have all these loans open, and you're paying interest to keep your loans open, you're hoping the price goes down, but then it starts to go up a lot. You could lose a lot of money because you'd have to buy them all back at a higher price to pay back your loan. And you had to pay interest to keep your loan open. Prices can go up infinitely, theoretically. Short selling is pretty dangerous, and everyone knows that. Back in the 90s, all these rich people at Bain Capital, like Mitt Romney, they realized that they can actually take companies down from the inside and basically loot a company from the inside. Take all its money, give it to them and their buddies, the shareholders, and then bankrupt it and leave. And there's not really any consequences. You just buy into the company, buy a bunch of shares, get yourself on the board, take it over, start hiring people that will do what you want, mismanage it, do a bunch of buybacks so the money gets paid back out to you and the shareholder buddies. And you can really just mismanage the company into the ground and basically loot it for all it's worth. When it goes bankrupt, it's like, oh, well, whoopsies. It was destined to fail. We'll just move on to the next company. Whatever, my mistake. They made billions of dollars doing this. The Toys R Us. And everyone else was looking around like, damn, that was a pretty solid strategy. Bain Capital. Maybe we could do that to some other companies. This was just after the dot-com bubble happened. There was this whole internet thing. Amazon was on the rise. Everyone realized there's all these retail stores out there that are probably in big trouble, like Blockbuster and Sears and GameStop, companies that are bound to fail. Why don't we make them fail faster and profit off of that? Plus, it turns out that these dudes that work at places like Bain Capital that can take these places down from the inside out. It turns out they have a lot of friends in the market that like to short sell. The thing about supply and demand is when I'm borrowing thousands and thousands of shares and selling them into the market right now, all that selling actually makes the price of the stock go down. Because when everyone's selling something, it gets valued less. But when everyone wants to buy something, the value goes up, right? So short selling actually makes a stock's price go down. And these guys realize that you like to make money when stocks go down. And I like to make money when companies get destroyed. And when we do those both at the same time, everybody wins. Except the company, of course. And then it turned out they were like, hey, We both know a lot of people in the mainstream media that like to report on failing companies. The kinds of reports that make investors scared and make them want to sell a stock. And they realize they had the dream team, for they were bankrupting companies, and they could all make money on the way down, and no one would ever stop them because it's legal. And it actually started to work so well that they started to get really greedy, and they started to naked short sell, which means no one's checking if we're even borrowing these shares that we're borrowing in order to short sell. Why even borrow them? We can just short sell shares and say we borrowed them. The company is going to go bankrupt anyways. When it does go bankrupt, we don't even need to pay that loan back because there's no shares to give back. They're gone. And fun fact, it's all tax-free money too, because there's no company. The shares are gone, free money. So some of them got really greedy and started selling without even borrowing the shares in the first place. But we'll come back to that in just a second. Because the other thing that's important to realize about the stock market is it's like this big casino game now. So it's not like the big boys aren't just playing with the share of a company. They're playing with these that are called derivatives, which is like leveraging your assets to take out loans to make big plays, big gambles. They use all these special kinds of contracts where they put up collateral in order for their bank or whoever to let them trade on a whole bunch of extra money they don't really have, but they've got collateral. If it starts to go sideways, the bank can just take their collateral and it's all safe. But this way, I can trade with 100 times the money of what I actually have. It's called leverage. All these different tricks, they're called derivatives. And they let these big players gamble with huge positions in the market. Now, when the stock moves by $1, they're leveraged 100x. If the stock goes up by $1, they can make like 100x $1, or if the stock goes down, vice versa. This derivatives market has gotten really big. Hundreds of trillions of dollars worth of these weird bets just all over the market. These are the banks. It's like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. This is in millions of dollars. We're talking $49 million. That is $49 trillion worth of these derivative bets open with just JP Morgan, the biggest bank. But the thing about these derivatives is they all have collateral backing them up. The thing they use for collateral, they're not like you and me. It's not like they're putting up their car for collateral. They're putting up their other assets. Over here, they're to be trading these assets on that collateral. And over here, they're trading the collateral on these assets. The whole market is now tied together by all these big financial institutions trading trillions of dollars worth of stocks that they don't actually have on leverage that's based on collateral that they're trading for trillions of dollars worth of stock. Over there. You see what I mean? If they mess this one up, then that one gets fired. There's all these dudes doing this criminal shorting businesses out of existence scheme in the market in secret. They've been targeting GameStop for years now. Ever since 2014, the stock was on this endless ramp down. They were short selling it while they had infiltrated it and were mismanaging the company from the inside out. Amazon was licking its lips, ready to take over the video game online industry. And the people doing all this short selling also have all these other crazy bets open all over the market. And if any of them go wrong, a whole lot of things go wrong. And then out of nowhere, this dude that would live stream to 4 people about his investment thesis noticed that GameStop had a lot of short sellers, and it wasn't necessarily a bad company. In fact, it had a future if it turned around. Then this really savvy businessman came and took over the company and started turning it around. He kicked out all the bad people that had been trying to mismanage it to death. Suddenly, all the people that had just spent years and years short selling millions and millions of shares, and all those loans were still open because they were expecting it to go to zero and they wouldn't have to pay them back. Suddenly, the price is going up and they're all in trouble. Because the thing is, when the price goes up and one of the other people that's short selling the company gets scared and closes out their trades, they have to buy all those shares back to get out of that, right? Because they borrowed and sold. So now, you have to buy and give them back. But all that buying makes the price go up even higher. And there were a lot of people short selling this thing. And in fact, they had short sold it so much that they couldn't afford to buy it all back. Once the price started going up that high, it was down to 50 cents. and they were opening short sales at 50 cents. Today, we're at what? $60 times millions and millions and millions of shares that you have to buy back. Each one will make the price go up. And the whole stock market is tied together by all these crazy financial derivatives. And everyone's balance sheets are actually sketchy in the first place. Yeah, and we all realize that all we have to do is buy the shares and just hold on to them because these guys need to buy them from us in order to close their trades out. Whoopsies. And the more we thought about it, the more we realized, no, I don't really want to sell. So then, they tried to trick us into thinking that they had already closed their positions and it was all over. And we were like, I'm pretty sure you're lying, dude. We just held on for years. It turns out we were right. Shorts never closed. Now, we've all got the shares that they need in order to close. I still don't want to sell. Thanks for watching. Make sure you drop a like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell notification to get notified every time I post such content.